Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, my name is Sasha. I love reviewing indie eyeshadow palettes. I do a lot of those multiple eye look videos, all that fun stuff. So if you guys are into that kind of content, then make sure to subscribe to my channel because I love to have you guys here. And for this video, we got a crazy, beautiful purple, blue, teal leaning eyeshadow palette from Cosmic Brushes, and this is the Winter Wonderland. And can we just take a moment to admire the beauty of this one? My blue heart is dying for this one. I know I'm over exaggerating, but it's not like every day I get to review a blue eyeshadow palette because I'm really like picky when it comes to blue. Blue is like my main favorite color, but I prefer blues that lean a little bit green, like the teals, or blues that lean a little bit on the purple. So when I first seen this, the color story for this palette, I thought it was so perfect, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on this, especially since I love Cosmic Brushes formula. Their formula is really easy to work with. They are also like an affordable indie brand. They are based on the UK. Sometimes I forget to mention about the covers on artwork on palettes. Sometimes I don't, or sometimes I do, but this one's so beautiful. It's like very like a watercolor effect. It looks like they're feathers. Not sure, it could be feathers or clouds, but I think it's so dreamy, and the font is so beautiful too. And also another thing too, I will sound like a broken record every time I review a Cosmic Brushes palette or whenever I bring it up, but I love the way their palettes are shaped. It's all rounded and it's just so nice to hold. Number one packaging in the palette shape style. This is like my favorite way how a palette is made, I guess. So I don't have any other palettes that are made like this, rounded. Everything else is like super edgy, but this one is so nice. I really appreciate that because it just makes me want to hold it more. For this video, I have so much content for this one, so I'm going to be doing 3 different eye looks so I can inspire you guys to what you guys can do with this Winter Wonderland palette. And I have a lot of palettes to compare this one to, as in side by side, so you guys compare if you guys need this one in your collection, and also some comparable swatches with certain palettes. And I only swatch shades that I think are similar between the two. I don't swatch the whole 2 palette because that is very time consuming, but it's just so you guys can see if you guys need this one. The comparable eyeshadow palettes I want to show you guys. First off is the Simply Posh Cosmetics Berry Icy palette. So I find that between these two, I think only a few mattes were similar, but the shimmers were pretty different from each other. And for the Oden's Eye Christmas Eve palette, I really want to compare this one. This one, the Christmas Eve is a little bit more grungier, but there were a few swatches that seemed a little bit similar just with the mattes, but the shimmers were different. And then with the Glamlight Barbie Dream palette, I think some of the mattes might be similar. I have not used it, but they look really good next to each other. And for the Blend Blending Lure palette, one of my favorite palette, this one has some pastels and bright colors, so I think they'll pair well together as well. And Serenity palette from Cosmic Brushes, they look like they have some similar shades, but they don't. I think they have different shades, so I did comparable swatches between these two. And also it was requested by my dear friend Brittany, right? She also has a YouTube here, and she asked me twice already if I could find a dupe for this multichrome right here, because this palette has 2 multichromes. So she wanted the shade a dupe for the Winter Solstice, so I'm like, okay, I might as well add this to the video too. And I did my best. I mainly had better luck with my singles, my eyeshadow singles, so I didn't find an exact dupe, but you guys will see. I also went ahead and found a few similar shades with Atmosphere, which is the other multichrome here, but not exact dupes, just in case if you guys have in your collection, because I have some indie eyeshadows from Electrum Cosmetics, Terra Moons, and I guess I included also one from from Pastel Roses. I'm gonna show you guys the shades I found most similar with the Winter Solstice, and it's such a beautiful multichrome, but it is actually really toned down. It has like a light gray green base, and then it shifts to like a little bit reddish, but it's not so dramatic how you guys see it on the website. On the eye, it does look really pretty, but I have some indie eyeshadows. Just keep in mind the indie eyeshadows, they're a little bit more dramatic. They're more expensive. So each of these singles, they retail between $16 to $18. So they're actually more higher quality, of course. So that's why they look more impactful. But the main dupe that I found that was closest from what I have in my collection is the Divina Cosmetic Palamon shade, and this shade is one of my most favorite shades ever in my collection. Like the shade Palamon, it has more of a green, like it's more brighter in the green, and it also has a stronger red shift, like a pink red shift. Also has like a hint of purple as well. So this one's more dramatic than the shade Winter Solstice. I think Winter Solstice is still pretty, but it's just a lot more toned down. And now for the shade Atmosphere, it's such a dramatic multi-chrome. It's very beautiful. It's very strong. It has like a gray base almost, but it shifts from a purple to a dramatic, almost like a red violet. Really pretty, but toned down comparing to my indie eyeshadows, of course. So the one closest I found that was most similar, but not exactly. It doesn't have that red fleck to it. It's from Electron Cosmetic, the shade Galaxia, and this one, it has more of a stronger teal shift to it, but it doesn't have that red fleck to it. So now finally I'm going to show you guys my first two eye looks that I created with the Winter Wonderland palette. So for the first look, I focused on the shades, on the blue shades mostly, and a little bit of the greens. So I jumped right ahead with the shade Fresh Air because that's a blue shade I don't typically use. I say, why not? Let me just do a vibrant blue look with this one. So I think it was just mainly the Fresh Air shade. I was able to blend it out, but at certain spots I do have to pat it down. So I guess because it's like the blues and purples are a little bit harder to formulate, I think with that blue I have to pat it down more rather than blend it out. You could blend it out and you could just easily just dab it right in, just patting the pigment back in if it's like missing like a spot. But also another thing, I didn't really use eyeshadow primer. I need to buy a new one, guys. So that's another thing. I just use my concealer. And the pastel shades, they're a buildable formula and they show up better on my second eye look when I use a lighter base, so you guys will see in a bit. But the shimmers, I use 3 different shimmers. The shade Frost is so icy and beautiful. I'll say with the shimmer formula with the cosmic brushes, you are able to use your brush, but you really have to build it up with your brush and you get better impact with using your fingers. And now for the second eye look, I really wanted to create a pastel eye look. So to create a pastel eye look, I highly recommend to use a light base. So I use the AP Beauté Amplifying Eyeshadow Primer, and I'm not sure if that one's available anymore, but if you could find a light base eyeshadow base, then make sure to apply it when you want to do a pastel eye look, so the pastels could stand out more. I use the shade Blanket, which looks like a purple in a pan, but once you put it on the lid, it could be my eyeshadow primer, it looked a little bit more bluish, so I was like a little surprised about that. And then I use the shade Crisp again for my lid. And then the multichrome, I really want to use a multichrome shade. I used my Belly to Bar Shimmer Stay, and so it could help like make the shimmer more smoother. So I used the shade Winter Solstice, which is the multichrome I had to. So I only used it on I only applied it from like almost the middle of my lid to the end of my lid, not on the inner lid. So the inner lid, I used the shade Crisp on top of a light base, and so that way it could stand out more. And I thought that look was very pretty. I also topped it off with the shade Wonderland in the inner corner. And that Wonderland shade, it leans a little bit yellowish, a little bit. It has like a slight yellow hue to it, so it's not exactly silver, but I actually really enjoy that because sometimes I don't really want a silvery shade. So I think that makes it super unique, and I just did a little arch theme and pretty much the same pastels on the bottom besides the shade Peaceful, just to add a little bit extra depth. But that look was very easy to do. I love that look very, very much. Love pastel eye looks. I had to take off my sweater because I was sweating. You guys could probably tell how flush I look. I did put a little bit extra blush. I've been putting blush over here and also a little bit on my nose, so maybe it's making me look a little bit more flush than blush. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I needed to take it off and I feel a lot cooler. I thought it was cold enough for me to wear a sweater, but I wanted to feel cozy, but I guess we have to air myself out. Okay, but I'm ready to do my third eye look, and for this one I think I'm gonna do a super dark look. I'm kind of scared because with the first two eye looks I already created the look and I just did it really fast on the other side, but now we just have to jump in for like almost first impressions. So I'm just gonna pat this down with my sponge because I'm not using eyeshadow primer. I need to get one, and I need to play with the darker shades, and we're gonna go bold. We're gonna go the shade Cold. It's like a vibrant purple shade. I haven't used the shades. I know it's gonna be super pigmented. I'm scared. And Oh, okay. I was expecting it to be more like vibrant, but I mean, maybe you can. On top of white base, it'll probably look a little, it'll pop more, but I didn't put a white base, so we're just gonna go ahead and just, yeah, this shade, I feel like I have to pat it down. I don't think it's gonna be good. We could try to swipe it. Just remember, blue and purples are a little bit hard to formulate, but so far it wasn't that bad. I think it was mostly the shade Fresh Air. That one I had to fix my eye look with the first one, but this one, let me see. I just want to see if I could blend it out, or I could use this taper brush. You guys, yeah, I'm just gonna add the pigment in, and then I'll just softly blend. So what this palette's reminding me of, I forgot to compare this one with the Serenity palette. I think that would have been a great comparison. I think this one will pair very well with the Serenity palette, but I'll just add a clip in so you guys could see if they look similar next to each other. I'm not sure. I haven't checked, but I'm hoping they're different enough. I feel like they are, but I think this one will be a great sister. It's like the cooler sister. Yes. Okay. I know I don't want to do another halo look. I mean, I've been doing a lot of halo looks, but not in this video though. So I'm just trying to stay away. Like, let's just take a break from halo looks for now. Just always tempted, but well, I am very, very tempted. I know I've used this shade like 2 times already, but I want to use the shade Peaceful, and I feel like the shade right here, Peaceful, it's such a pretty shade. I can't help myself when it comes to those blues, like aquamarines, teals. I just hope it looks different. This look, it's gonna be vibrant for sure, very dark. So this palette has a lot of pastels, mid-tones, and dark shades. So it has a lot of good depth with this one. So I really, really love that. I think with the last palette, not the Gothic one, I didn't get that one. That one looks great. But the one before that, the Delicious Delight, I wasn't too crazy for, because that was their first multichrome formula. But it's not just that. It was just, I wasn't feeling it. Probably because I have better pastel palettes. But that one's not bad. The formula's fine. It's fine. And that multichrome just threw me off. I didn't really like it. It was too smooth for my liking, and it creased kind of badly on my, what you call it, right here. Like, it creased pretty easily with that multichrome. So I feel like these multichrome formula in this palette is a little bit better. It doesn't feel as smooth. It feels like they did something to it. I haven't worn out the look, so I can't say for sure. But I just enjoy the feeling of these multichromes better than the Delicious Delight multichrome, is what I'm saying. So these 2 shades I forgot to mention in place on my swatches. So these shades look super dark. They almost look like they're close to each other, but they're not. This one leans a little bit more purplish. It's like a dark purple shade, and this one's just like a black, like a lighter black. So I will say that. So I don't think none of these shades are repetitive. I think it's like a good range of colors, purple, blue, greens, and I'm excited because this look is gonna be super dark. I'm gonna use the shade Clear Skies, and I'm just gonna focus on this corner. So it is a darker purple, so it'll pair very well on top of that shade. It looks like, yeah, it looks really good. So I'm just gonna focus on one eye. Looks pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit more. Just build up that corner, and I got some fallout, so I'm gonna use my Belly Beauty Bar Shimmer Stay. So I love this one because in case if I want to add mattes on top, then it doesn't really mess up, rather than like the NYX glitter glue. If I mess up, like if I have to add more mattes, then I can't do it on top of the NYX glitter glue, but with this one I can. So I'm just gonna put this on real quick. And I want to put the shade Comfort. It's so beautiful. It's a toned down purple. It's a very wearable purple. So some of these shimmers, they're a little bit lackluster. They have minimal sparkle, but this is like the one of the most wearable shimmers in this palette. So I'm going to use that for the inner part. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in the inner part. Ooh, yeah, see? I had to get a lot so it could show up. I think I want to get multiple shimmers. Maybe I'll use 3 shimmers. So let me dig a little bit more for that one. But yeah, I think maybe with the flatter brush, it applies better. So maybe I don't have to put my finger in. Looks good. I'm gonna get the shade Atmosphere now. Then the second multi-chrome in this palette. And maybe I'm kind of tempted. Should I do it right there? Or should I do it here? Well, we'll put in the whole lid. I feel like I'm gonna have to add one of the darker shimmers on the corner maybe. But let me just put it right here. And that's why. Ooh, it's gonna be dark. This one's smooth, but has like a little bit of a putty texture. I prefer this multi-chrome than the Delicious Delight. Yeah, looks good. And this beautiful shift. I have to kind of blend out in between there a little bit because it looks a little bit off, so I need to add something there. Add the shade Chill. I know I just used that shade, but I can't help it. This shade is so vibrant. It's beautiful on the lid. It's very putty and squishy, but I'm going to add it into this corner right here. And then I'm going to put some mattes on top of that corner just to blend out this corner, this shade. This look is going to be super dark, you guys could tell. Ooh, it's giving me flashbacks of a certain look I did with Cosmic Brushes. I did like a galaxy look, so this is reminding me of a galaxy, like very dark sky. Ooh, I might have to, yeah, I'm definitely gonna add more mattes on top. Let me just add the shade Reflection. We're gonna do that, just a little hint in that corner. With this brush, so I'm just gonna do it in this corner. Just like a little V almost. And do a little arch like what I love doing. Little arch. And we'll add in that purple shimmer again, the comfort shade, but this time I'm going to use my finger. Such a wearable purple. I'm just going to add in between, help blend those shades in a little bit better. Yeah, I'm going to get a little bit of the cold, and then I'm going to get the shade Clear Skies right there. Yeah, so I just have to work with the depth. Make sure to tap out. And I'm just going to add it right here in the corner. Yeah, just like that, just to add that extra depth. And then we're going to add that Clear Sky shade in just a bit. Yeah, now we're going to do Clear Skies, which is a darker purple. And just really work with that depth level of the corner. Okay, and just blend this out a little bit. I'm going to add more mattes on top. I'm going to get the shade Peaceful for the inner part. And I'm going to add the shade Calm on the top part. I don't think I use Calm, so we're going to do that because it's a little bit vibrant with the Calm. But first, Peaceful, I'm going to use a tapered blending brush because I could soften the edges with this one very easily. So I just do it lightly, just like that. Just adding more of a, raising the eye look a little bit higher. Now I'm going to get the shade Calm. Such a pretty purple shade. I'm surprised I didn't use this shade for like one of the main colors. I don't think I did. So I'm just going to use this to blend out the edges of the dark shade. Just like that. Yeah, looks so pretty. And I'm going to just do like a little circular motion. Just like that, yeah. I'm sure I could blend this better, but oh, so beautiful. Now for the bottom look. So this one's a little bit more, this look is a little more complicated compared to the other two looks. I feel like the other two looks were more simple, but I guess this one I just want to play around with more colors with you guys. For the bottom, I'm going to get the shade Icicle, Peaceful, and probably add a little bit extra depth with the shade Cold. So those are the shades I'm going to use right now. So on my pastel eye look, I used the white base on the bottom, so maybe that's something I have to do. Well, I was trying to find my light base, but I can't find it in the mess I have. But I'm just gonna continue working on this because my camera is gonna die. You know, okay. And I'm gonna get the shade Peaceful now, and just focus on the edges more. I feel like I have to blend this out a little bit more, so I think I'm gonna just keep going back and forth. Let me get the shade Icicle again. blow it out, the blue, a little bit more. To put the shade Cold, that vibrant purple shade, into this corner right here. Ooh, such a pigmented shade. And yeah, I definitely need to fix my makeup a little bit because I got some fallout. So if you're doing a dramatic look, make sure to do your eye look first. But now for the inner corner, real quick, let's go with the multi-chrome Winter Solstice. So hopefully it looks good in the inner corner. Just haven't tried. I'm just gonna use my pinky. Oh, it's like, it's such a fiery shade in the inner corner. Yay, that's good. Looks really good. So that's how it's looking. That looks really cool. So I'm just gonna finish up this look. I might add a liner. I feel like I shouldn't, because just to show off that blend. But yeah, I'll be right back so I can wrap up this review. Here's my last eye look, and yes, this one is really dramatic and very bold. I love it how jewel tone this look is. Very sapphire vibes. I love it. I love this look. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so happy with this eyeshadow palette. So let me give you guys my final thoughts about this one. The Winter Wonderland. The packaging is very beautiful. I love it. Love the round packaging. You guys already know. The color story is very beautiful. I feel like some of the colors were a little bit like ashy, like powdered down, like they weren't as pigmented. So definitely use a light base if you want your eye look to be more bolder. Like with this shader here, Peaceful, I mean, of course it does look a little bit muted down comparing to the other shade, but when I put it on my lid, it doesn't look as vibrant. It looks very like ashy, like not as pigmented. And also, which other shade? In the shade Fresh Air, just like in there's another blue like this in the Delicious Delights. I think it was kind of like that too, that you have to build up the shade, but it looks more vibrant on top of a light base. So I would highly suggest, if you're not gonna do a dark look like this one, and if you want to use some of the light shades, like these shades right here, the pastels, these are pastels. There's 3 pastels, and then this shade right here, especially if you want it to be more true to color, then use the light base, and also this shade too. And if you want these purples to be a little bit more vibrant, then light base as well. But if not, it's fine. It'll just be more of a, it's a nice purple, like 2 little purples. I really love these purples, but I want to use a light base for next time for these purples, because I really love these purples. I love how vibrant this one looks. I feel like with the light base, it's gonna stand out a lot more. And then the shimmers, if you guys are familiar with Cosmic Brush's shimmer formula, they have like, it's like more in a wearable type of shimmers, but they still make them really pretty. Like the amount of sparkles in them, it's very minimal, with between the Comfort, Breed, and Reflection. Reflection is such a beautiful shade. It's just nice, like it's like a between the aquamarine and teal. It's such an oceany color. I really love this shade. I feel like I don't really have this shade in my collection, so I'm really happy to have this in this palette. And well, this one's not super sparkly as well. I mean, there is some sparkles, I'm just saying, comparing to the other shimmers I'm going to mention, but this one's so bold and vibrant. It is pigmented, so this one's really pretty. It's like, it shifts from like teal almost to a purple. It's very vibrant. It's such a squishy formula. It's a putty formula. Like, look at that. It shifts like a teal and a purple. I love this shade very much. It's not even the multi-chrome. The multi-chrome that looks similar to Downwood is probably Atmosphere, but this one has more of a red violet flip to it. Look at that. Oh, and it's very strong with that teal. Well, the multi-chrome, they're beautiful. They are shifty, but I feel like the shift is more subtle against like other indie brands, especially the indie eyeshadows singles that I compared it to. Like those are like $16 to $18 value type of shades, so that's the reason why those look more impactful, but they're still pretty. I feel like the Winter Solstice shade is such a wearable, oh, it's such a unique shade, because I couldn't dupe this one, so of course I'm very happy for this one to be super unique in my collection. It's a very strong like green teal. It's like a green, hold on, it's like a green, it's very like a greenish gray shade base with the red little flip. The flip on the eye, I think when you put it on the eye, it's very subtle. I guess maybe it depends on the lighting too. It does shift, but not as super dramatic. It's like such a wearable multi-chrome, I would say. I love this shade though, man. That green, it's so stunning. I love it. And the other multi-chrome I was saying, oh, did I just swatch them? Oh yeah, I just finger swatched this one. Atmosphere is super smooth. I just got distracted comparing the formula, I guess. But yeah, this one's super smooth. I really love the formula. I feel like they did improve compared to the Delicious Delight. I wasn't such a fan of that formula. I feel like it was too smooth. But this one at least it feels like it's gonna stay a little bit like longer compared to that other formula. Oh my gosh, the multi-chrome. So they are shifty, but it's just very subtle, especially with this one, I would say. I don't know. It looks very pretty on the eyes. Like the sparkles, it's like a sparkle shift with the red. Once you put it on the eye, it's really pretty. So I say it's a really wearable multi-chrome, which I love still. And for the sparkly shimmers, I love the sparkly shimmers so much because the shade Wonderland, you think it's like a silver, but there's like a little like slight yellow hue to it. It's very like pale. It's so beautiful. It's like a yellowish green. Like there's like a hint of a yellowish green, so it's not just a silver like an icy silver. So I really appreciate this type of shade in this palette because it just adds a little bit of interest. See the yellowness to it? It's so pretty. And then the shade Frost, let me finger swatch this one too. So I just want to finger swatch it because I just want to show how beautiful this palette is. So let me use my other finger. This is such a beautiful icy shade. So this one's more icy than the Odazai, that other icy shade from the Christmas Eve palette. So when I was comparing the swatches, I'm like, I was really surprised. Like this one's more pigmented, more vibrant, and super icy. I think this one is stronger with the blue, while the other one's more white comparing to the Odazai one. See, super shimmery though. So I really love that. So you can use these as inner corners or on our inner lid. But overall, if you're familiar with Cosmic Brushes formula, then and you love their other palettes, and I am sure you'll love this one, especially you have to really love these colors, the purple, blue, green. The blues, they lean a little bit green, some of them, like I said earlier. I still need to use a few more shades in this palette. I think this shade Clear Sky was really such a great dark purple. It's really good. I think it adds like a lot of depth, and I have not even used a black shade right here. This one's like a grayish black shade, so I still need to use this shade and the Showers and Magical. I think that's all the shades I still need to use, and the shade Braid. I didn't get to use Braid in my looks, yeah, so I didn't use about like 4 shades in this palette, but I love all the looks I created. It's not every day I do blue eye looks, you guys, and because blues, man, blues are just a special color to me. I love blues, but it has purples too, and I love purples. And ooh, this palette has my weakness, and I didn't get to mention it in this video, but if you guys are familiar with my channel, and I mention it quite a lot, one of my top favorite palettes is a Cosmic Brushes Muse palette. I love that one very much. It's like my literal perfect neutral palette that has more of a pop of colors. Such a playful neutral palette. I love the tones in that one. I think the shimmers in that one, they're just special. I feel like you get more bang for your buck for that one. I always highly recommend that one. But this one, yeah, as long as you keep in mind of everything I said, if you want it to be the colors to stand out more, then definitely use a light base for this one. But beside that, I really love the formula. Like always, the color story is beautiful. This palette is having serious competition against Muse, so I'm afraid that the Muse and this one might be my top 10 from this year. But I gotta use this one. I gotta use this one more though. That's about it. So I'm really happy about this palette. You guys could tell. I'm so happy. I'm happy. And and I'm just giving you guys a fair warning that the winter palettes are coming for me. So you guys are going to be seeing a lot of blues, purplish palettes in my next coming videos, like from Ansley Rain, from Gorman Girls. And I forgot if there's anything else, but I think there are only 2 more. I don't think there's any any other blue palettes after that. But yeah, that's my future content. But really hope you guys find this video helpful. Let me know what you guys think about this palette, and if you guys are new to my channel, I really hope you consider subscribing, because I do a lot of indie palette reviews and a lot of multiple eye look videos. I always do comparisons whenever I can. But anyways guys, that's gonna be it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I love you guys all so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.